Your reaction, Jarom, to the Big 12 scheduling matrix. We know who BYU will play twice.
Let's talk about it.
Now you see the full rundown. BYU gets Arizona, Utah, and Texas Tech twice, and then everybody else once. And you have to break up the remaining teams for road games. You only play them once on the road, and then you get the remainder on your home floor. So what's your immediate reaction to this?
Let's tell the people the home only, the road only. So home only is Arizona State, Colorado, Houston, Iowa State, TCU, UCF. Away only, Baylor, Cincinnati, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. And the three that you play twice are Arizona, Texas Tech, and Utah, as reported by Jon Rothstein yesterday, and now official from the Big 12. So here's my reaction. Arizona twice is great. This was one of the games I wanted twice. I'm excited about that. I loved the two games that they played. They were competitive down the wire, interesting games. I think there's a regional element to that. I think there's sort of a budding rivalry in the Big 12 with Arizona, which is cool. I was hoping for Kansas or Houston, frankly, as the other. I talked to some people. They said, I want nothing to do with Houston. I want this team to do something with Houston because I think this team can hang with Houston, which would be really fun. But it's not. But Houston is coming to the Marriott Center, which is great. I was hoping, to continue to have Baylor maybe twice too. But Rob Wright, the third at Baylor, that'll be fun.
Oh, boy.
That'll be fun. That's walking into a snake pit a bit. BYU's 2-0 versus Kansas streak on the line when they go to Fog Allen Fieldhouse yet again. Utah, of course, would be one of the three. At West Virginia 3 years in a row. I don't understand that one. That Cincinnati-West Virginia road trip will happen again for BYU. A little odd for me. And then I look at the whole schedule and I go, okay, is BYU going to go 14-6 or better again? The answer is yes. It's a tough Big 12. This team can certainly equal or better what last year's team did. So I can't wait. We don't have dates and TV, but we know opponents now. And we know all but one either reported or published opponent now, which is still TBD. So we know 30 of the 31 games. Can't wait, man.
Again, remember the BYU and every Big 12 team is moving from a 20-game conference schedule to 18 games. So instead of playing 5 teams twice, you play 3 teams twice. I wish that BYU could face the likes of Kansas twice and maybe Baylor or Iowa State twice. But again, that's not the case now. BYU has more opportunities to ramp up their non-conference schedule, which they have done. And I'm not going to be super picky, but if I could make one change here, because I like it pretty much overall, I would probably switch out Texas Tech for another shot at, because I love the rivalry, Iowa State. I think the rivalry with Iowa State is fantastic.
They played some great games.
Last year, 2 unforgettable matchups, one in Ames and the other in the Big 12 tournament. So the idea of BYU being able to host Iowa State and then go back and play there at Hilton Coliseum, like the Marriott Center and Hilton Coliseum.
Marriott versus Hilton. I know it's not that Hilton.
Those, in recent years, there's an argument that those are the 2 toughest places to play in the Big 12. Along with the Fertitta Center of Houston. But
I would argue that's number 1. But Kansas used to be tough to win.
Apparently that is not the case anymore.
Now, yeah.
BYU did it a couple of years ago, so
hoping to do
I'm
it again.
excited about the prospect of BYU going back to historic Allen Fieldhouse and having an opportunity to keep their versus Kansas and Big 12 unbeaten streak alive.
Yeah. No AC in that gym, by the way. It's 2025. Why don't we have air conditioning in that gym? What?
The Cincinnati, West Virginia.
How dare you?
The Cincinnati, West Virginia road trip is interesting again.
I don't like that that's on there again. By the way, it was funny yesterday when Kevin Young told us, I found out we were pregnant the day we played Cincinnati.
And we lost by 20.
Saying that's why we lost by 20, but I'm saying that's lost by 20.
Would you change
What was the bigger surprise? The news he got from home or that BYU lost convincingly?
Well, that was an interesting day. That was a wildly, emotionally erratic day for the Young family, no doubt about it. What would you change? I told you I'd make the slight change probably for Iowa State twice instead of Texas Tech. What would you do?
I'd love Houston or Kansas as that other game.
Okay, so you're choosing Houston.
I want
2 games.
Make it super tough, as we've learned from Chris Burgess and Kevin Young and others.
Wait. The schedule is not too hard, Jarom?
Well, when you have a team that people are talking about the Final Four, in football we never talked about, yes, this is a national championship contender. It's not even close to the same thing, yeah.
I say in jest partially, but
Yeah.
this is.
But also BYU was independent, and there was no point in scheduling tough. There really wasn't.
Okay.
In football, like, there's not a committee that rewards strength of schedule for 40 at-large bids in football. It's not even close to the same sort of situation. Also, did BYU get the #1 football recruit in the country ever? No. This team can handle it. And if they have 7 or 8 losses, they'll still be a 2 or 3 seed. The basketball rewards you for playing a strong schedule. Football does not. A lot of people just go, oh, Indiana only lost 1 game. They must be good.
Well, the SEC claims that playing a tough schedule is rewarded or should be more.
Was South Carolina and Ole Miss? Were they rewarded with 3 losses? They were not.
Alabama almost was.
But they weren't. Like, they don't reward you for the tough schedule in football. It's different. Jon Rothstein spent 3 minutes on BYU yesterday in his podcast. He reiterated BYU fans should expect nothing less than a Final Four with this team, as he heard at the top of the segment, highlighted by a strong opinion on Richie Saunders.
It feels like Richie Saunders, a proven commodity, an all Big 12 first-team player, is a forgotten piece for the Cougars when people are talking BYU basketball entering next season. And this guy wasn't just somebody who was returning from a Sweet 16 team. This guy was a technician offensively in the NCAA tournament. 3 NCAA tournament games for Saunders, 22 points a game, 25 of 42 from the field, 5 of 12 from 3, and was just an unbelievable offensive player last season. Made 79 threes, shot over 42% from 3, and make no mistake about it, next season, Richie Saunders will be an all Big 12 first-team caliber player, and I think a real candidate to be a first, second, or third-team preseason All-American.
Okay, let's hone in on one piece there, because I agree with him for the most part. Do you think that Rich is a forgotten piece in this BYU roster?
In what world is where we need to determine this? Because in the BYU world, no. Richie Saunders is not forgotten at all. Like, he's forever the tater tot king. Frankly, for a lot of college basketball fans, they will associate Richie Saunders with tater tots and what he did in March Madness and how he burst onto the scene with the magnifying glass on him in that tournament with how well he played. Now, your typical college basketball fan outside of the Big 12, yeah, they're probably going to focus most of their attention on A.J. DiBonsa and BYU's NIL budget and maybe Rob Wright III and what BYU did to get even better at the point guard position in that regard. So that is understandable. A.J. DiBonsa is such a powerful name in the basketball world right now that he clearly will be the headliner for your typical basketball fan. And Richie is in his shadow to a degree in that realm. But in the world of just Big 12 basketball and BYU basketball, no, he is not forgotten. He is the beloved Richie Saunders, tater tot king, and will be forever. And isn't it wild that you listen to Jon Rothstein and you hear him say, Richie's a clear-cut top 5 player in the Big 12 going into next season. And he's waiting on his fist bump. He named 4 guys who will be surefire first-team guys. And Rothstein's a guy that only puts 5 on his first team. It's not a 10-guy first team.
He said that, yeah.
So there's weight there.
I put 15, just to be very inclusive.
But A.J. DiBonsa is not on that list. Rob Wright III is not on the list. Only Richie Saunders. So in a roundabout way, Rothstein is saying Richie is the best player right now on BYU's roster.
Right. 5 games in, we may look and go, that's clearly A.J. DiBonsa. Like, A.J. DiBonsa needs to be BYU's best player for BYU to go to the Final Four or make a massive run. I think he has to be. And if he lives up to the hype, certainly anything is possible for this BYU team. Adding to what you mentioned, if you watch the NCAA tournament and you saw Richie go for 25 and 25 in his last 2 games, then you know this dude is a baller. Shot north of 50% in all 3 games in the NCAA tournament. Did you know he made his last 41 free throws? He was super clutch in so many games for BYU. Like, unbelievable streak of free throws he walks into the season with.
Didn't he shoot like 58% for the entire tournament?
He was unbelievable. Yeah, it was like 50, 51, and 71 or something. Against Alabama, we sort of forgot. He shot 71, 10 of 14 from the field, 25 points. Like, obviously, it got away from BYU. He is not forgotten. Maybe in random, I don't know, in the middle of Indiana, do they not know who Richie's in? I don't know. They don't know, but they're about to find out. It's a good point by John.
Yeah, it is interesting with how good Richie is because of what BYU's done with their roster in this new stratosphere of recruiting, and A.J. DeBonsa, that somehow he is overshadowed. Like, that thought is wild.
He should be overshadowed by A.J. to me. Like, obviously, they work in tandem, though. It doesn't matter. We're not comparing light or shadow lengths here.
Do you think BYU with A.J. will have more than one all Big 12 preseason first-team guy?
Yes, because it's a 10-player team.
Would you put him as the fifth on Rothstein's top five, A.J. DeBonsa?
I don't know, because I would like to think so, but there's a lot of good players, and Darren Peterson in Kansas is good, and there's other newcomers into the league that will be interesting. So, whatever. I don't get as I've stated like all 4 days this week, I don't get too riled up over lists in the preseason anymore. So it's all good. I do believe Richie's one of the top 10 players in the league walking in for sure. Yeah.
BYU with Richie Saunders and A.J. DeBonsa and Rob Wright III and the rest of the crew will face the toughest schedule in BYU basketball history in the approaching season.